So Jules be over there beating on girls and stuff like that right there. So this content creator named Ria, I think it's Ria Jalesa, she came out telling the story time how she was with Jules and how, you know what I'm saying, that he's a
Solange, the family got involved and everybody, you know, kind of, there was some hush money going around.
You can't tell billionaires what to do. You can't at all. You can't take anything away. You can't say.
Reports have recently emerged claiming that Beyonce allegedly helped cover up a DV incident involving her nephew, Jules. Twitch streamer Ria Jalesa accused Jules of assaulting her and even allegedly pointing a blick at her head during a heated argument. The story becomes even more shocking once you hear the full details, yet somehow it never reached the mainstream media. Now, people are saying that's because Beyonce allegedly had her PR team suppress the story and portray Jalesa as dishonest. While many people are calling Beyonce out over this, Hughley sees it differently. He's basically saying, "Why are you acting shocked now? You made Beyonce and her husband billionaires, and this is exactly what billionaires do. They rely on money and influence to escape any real scrutiny." But let's talk about Jules because the allegations against him are seriously disturbing. Streamer Ria Jalesa recently went live and made some major claims. She says she met up with Jules at a hotel in Houston, but things quickly took a bad turn. According to her, he became angry over something, completely lost his temper, and allegedly started hitting her over and over. She even shared photos showing bruises and scratches across her body.
I'm like, ain't no way you don't do drugs. So he's like, yeah, I do E's. I do E's. We're literally spooning, y'all. And then he get mad out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. This man, he like, oh, you want to cuddle with me? Why we talk? I don't know what I said, but he grabbed my arm and he threw me up off of him. And he was like, get off of me. He threw me off of him. And at this point, he's literally mad. And I'm like, what the fuck is he mad about? Like, I'm still at this point confused because I literally cannot figure out for the life of me why the this man. He drops his bag on the table. He turns back around, y'all, and he start mixing on me. I kid y'all not. Start literally beating me up. Like, literally is beating me the and at this point, I blacked out. So I don't know what's going on. Why he's beating me up, I don't know what's going on. But I just know that he was punching me, like, all in this area, all on my body. Y'all, I had bruises every fucking where. I had bruises all over my arms. I still got a scar from him.
But it gets even worse. Ria also alleged that Jules reached into a bag, pulled out a firearm, pointed it directly at her face, and pressed it against her head while threatening her.
He grabbed the fucking bag. He pulled that motherfucking bag and he pointed that in my motherfucking face and he's tapping it on my head. Like tapping my head with the I would never that. Never that. He's tapping my head with the and yes, a big gun. But I just remember him saying, douse me and y'all know the brown hair that I had with the highlights, that's why I took that hair out, because it was covered in alcohol. I literally had to take my hair out because he poured 2 bottles of liquor over my head, gang. He got mommy problems and he got mommy issues bad. Real bad. I'm not Solange.
Now, before you assume Ria is making this up for attention, she actually tried dealing with everything privately at first. She asked Jules to replace the phone he allegedly broke during the altercation and told him she had no plans to tell anyone about what happened. But then Jules allegedly lost his temper again, and that's when Ria decided to speak out publicly. To support her claims, she came with receipts, including screenshots of text messages from a contact saved as Beyonce Nephew, where he asks her, "You really gonna try to get me arrested?" She even challenged Jules to file a defamation lawsuit if anything she's saying is false. On top of that, Ria isn't the first woman to come forward with allegations like these against Jules. If you've been following him for a while, you already know people have been calling his behavior strange for years, and the controversy goes all the way back to when he was still a teenager. In 2021, when Jules was only 16, he was dating Sky Jackson, and things quickly turned ugly. Leaked group chats allegedly showed Jules speaking disrespectfully about Sky, claiming he ruined her life and got revenge after she cheated on him. That so-called revenge allegedly involved leaking explicit videos of her. Again, Jules was just 16 at the time, yet he was already being accused of doing something that's serious. And distributing explicit content without someone's consent is a criminal offense. But nothing ever seemed to happen to Jules, and the story disappeared almost as quickly as it surfaced. There were even rumors claiming Jules' family paid Sky hush money, but that wasn't where the controversy ended. Around that same period, there were also reports that he had been arrested in Ohio on a concealed weapon charge. That claim was never fully verified, but with him now being accused of allegedly pulling a firearm on someone in 2026, it definitely raises questions about whether this behavior has been going on for years. The situation with Sky was really the first time the public got a closer look at who Jules might really be. Before that, he was simply known as Solange's son and Beyoncé's nephew, quietly appearing in family photos. But after that incident, people started paying closer attention, and he continued giving them reasons to. That all happened in 2021, but the controversies didn't end there. In 2022, rumors began circulating that Jules had allegedly gotten an OnlyFans model pregnant. Then in 2024, things became even more controversial when photos resurfaced showing Jules posing with a firearm and a blunt. There were also claims that he tried using the "My aunt is Beyonce" line to intimidate someone, suggesting he was untouchable because of his family's influence. If that's true, it could explain a lot. Maybe he grew up believing he was part of entertainment royalty and could get away with whatever he wanted without facing consequences. And so far, he has seemingly managed to avoid any major fallout, with reports alleging that's because Beyoncé stepped in behind the scenes to suppress these stories about Jules and silence his alleged victims. Just think about it. Jules has allegedly been linked to firearms, connected to a revenge porn controversy, accused of DV, and accused of threatening Ria's life. So where's the TMZ coverage? Why hasn't the Shade Room been talking about it? Now, I'm not saying there's some massive conspiracy, but reports claim Beyoncé's team has allegedly been working to keep these stories about Jules from gaining traction, which would make sense because if there's one thing Beyoncé protects, it's her public image. She doesn't want anything that could potentially damage her brand. She even featured Jules in promotions for her hair care line. So the last thing she'd want is for him to be publicly accused of putting his hands on women. That's often how influence works. Now, this is where Hughley comes into the conversation because he made a point that really stood out about this entire situation. DL has spent decades in the entertainment industry. He understands how Hollywood operates, and he's never been afraid to speak his mind. He said people need to stop acting shocked whenever something like this happens because, according to him, this is exactly how billionaires operate. You can't shame billionaires. They don't care about being canceled. They'll find ways to avoid scrutiny every single time. And his main point was that people should stop pretending Beyoncé is somehow an ethical billionaire because, in his opinion, there simply isn't any such thing.
You can't tell billionaires what to do. You can't at all. You can't take anything away. You can't shame them. You can't embarrass them because they make the rules. They're in charge. So they have a certain mindset and do things a certain way. And one of them does not include being fair. It is he with the goal makes.
And that's actually an important point when discussing why controversies involving the Carters never seem to have lasting consequences. From Solange putting her hands on JayZ in that elevator to Beyoncé's Blood Diamond controversy and JayZ's name being linked to those Diddy and Jeffrey files. Every single time, Beyoncé and her family appear to avoid any serious fallout. When you're worth $1 billion, you're simply not playing by the same rules as everyone else. You have lawyers, PR teams, private security, and powerful media connections. And when your family operates at that level, that protection often extends to the people around you as well. DL was making the point that billionaires would rather spend £50 million on a wedding than make sure their employees can read. While that's an entirely separate discussion about wealth inequality, the larger point is that billionaires exist in a completely different reality. They don't have to answer to the same expectations or deal with the same consequences. So what can people actually do about it? For starters, stop idolizing celebrities and treating Beyonce like she's untouchable. Because when people online start questioning Jules and asking, how does this guy keep getting away with all of this? Well, that's exactly why. His family operates on a level where they simply don't have to respond to that kind of public scrutiny. And fans are the ones who placed these celebrities on those pedestals in the first place. So don't act surprised when they behave like they're above the law, because that's often how it appears. Now you've got Jules Smith, who's 21 years old, and already has a long list of alleged controversies, questionable behavior, and DV accusations. Yet, he's still out there living his life, showing off on social media, and facing little to no real consequences. Why? Because his aunt is Beyonce. But let me know what you think about everything you've heard. Who do you think is responsible for Jules turning out the way he did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.